All right, so kind of transitioning over into the bronze medal match now between the US and Australia. This was a much more exciting match than the previous one between these two in the group stage. This one ended in a 4-3 win for the US, and for me, this might be a little controversial, but I'm going to stick with it. I think that the US kind of, in a really weird way, had a combination of making their opponents pay for their mistakes, but also their opponent kind of giving them the game. You could make the argument that 3 out of the 4 goals that they had were due to Australia making mistakes. We had Megan Rapinoe's Olympico, who scored directly off of a corner. For those of you who don't know what an Olympico is, it's when you score directly off of a corner. If I'm not mistaken, feel free to correct me down in the comments. But then we had a clearance that went awry that Megan Rapinoe volleyed into the top bins of the net, which is really, really sweet. I made a short TikTok video about that, and I also made a YouTube short video about that. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's on there. But then we also had a wayward pass from the back line, again from Australia, that Carly Lloyd made them pay for and scored her second goal of the match. So when the match ends 4-3 like that, Australia's got to be kicking themselves in the butt, because if they don't have some of those miscues, there's a chance that they win this game and actually go home with a medal. And Australia, they've come so far as a team in recent years, and for them to get this close and kind of blow it for themselves really, really sucks. Then again, I don't want to be too harsh on them, because I don't really think they played that bad of a game. In fact, all their goals that they scored this game were quite fantastic. Sam Kerr, she scored in the 17th minute. Fun fact, she became Australia's all-time leading scorer with that goal. Caitlin Ford ended up scoring. There was that shot from like 25 yards out from, what was her name? Jelnik. Jelnik scored that beauty from 25 out. That was a rocket. I got to give her mad props, because that was sweet. But at the end of the day, I think the story of that match is Australia kind of giving the game to the US, and the US making opponents pay for their mistakes. But kind of examining it more from a US perspective, the really positive takeaway from that is the US, I think, did a good job of making Australia pay for their mistakes. And that's, I think, one of the signs of a good team. If you are a good team, you don't let your opponent off the hook when they make those mistakes. And the US, I believe, is one of the world's best teams, and they made them pay for those mistakes. So good on them for that. Plus, not only that, but seeing Megan Rapinoe and Carly Lloyd each get a brace in what could be perhaps their final major tournament matches of their careers. Jury's still out on that. I could totally see Carly Lloyd wanting to play till the next World Cup, but it was really cool to see them at least go out on a high if this was it for them, because one, they get a medal. I think a medal is a really positive result, and two, they go out with having a big piece in the pie for that particular result. So a way for the veterans to really step up in this game and kind of bring it home for the team, I think speaks volumes about their character as players and how well that they've been playing this game for such a long time. So good on both of them for that. One little fun fact about this game too, I believe it was in this match. Let me double check my notes. Yeah, I believe it was in this match where Carly Lloyd earned her 312th cap, which makes her the second all-time leading appearance maker for the United States Women's National Team in history. Of course, Christine Lilly being number one in that regard, because she's got 40 more than Carly Lloyd, if you can believe that. But just what a way to cap off a really historic career if Carly Lloyd decides to hang it up for good. So we'll keep our eyes open for that. Some other notes that I wanted to bring up in this game, kind of going past my overall thoughts. I think this game was another case where there were a lot of missed passes, a lot of missed through balls, and it kind of seemed to be the theme of the party for the US this entire tournament. For whatever reason, a lot of their long balls, a lot of their through balls, just their basic passing, it just wasn't quite clicking for them, and I think it made it really hard for them to create solid chances, which is probably why they didn't score maybe as often as much as fans are used to seeing, which happens with teams. I don't think that they played their overall best tournament, but it was just a continued trend from the previous game against Canada, and I think it trickled over into the Australia game as well, despite them scoring so much. But like I said, I think it was a lot of the times due to Australia making mistakes. Another thing I wanted to mention too is I noticed Crystal Dunn got forward a lot more in the Australia game than usual. The US typically, what they like to do with their fullbacks is they like to have them assist in the attack. And when Dunn and O'Hara are assisting in the attack and getting forward and sending in crosses, Juliets will typically drop back and sort of play in a 3-back between her, Dahlkemper and Sauerbrunn, Davidson as well, if you throw her into the mix, because she played both of these last 2 games. But that's at least what I've observed. And by and large in this tournament, they just didn't really do that much. I'll touch on that a little bit later, but good on Dunn for getting forward in this game and being able to get a little bit more creative. The last thing I really want to say about this match was the fact that I think Sam Kerr's performance, and I feel really bad for her in this case, I think her performance was quite wonderful, but unfortunately Vivian Miedema's was so high in terms of record setting that's going to overshadow Sam Kerr's performance. If I am not mistaken, I believe Sam Kerr had 7 or 8 goals in this match, which would have broken Christine Sinclair's record. Actually, let me back up. Sam Kerr had 7 or 8 goals this tournament, which would have broken Christine Sinclair's previous record of most goals in a single women's Olympic tournament. However, Vivian Miedema shattered that this tournament with having 10 to Sam Kerr's 7. So I just wanted to bring up Sam Kerr's performance because I think she's still one of the best strikers in the world at the young age of 27, and that she crushed it, and I believe by and large helped Australia get through where they got through in this tournament. So just wanted to bring that up overall, but I guess that's neither really here nor there besides her becoming Australia's all-time leading scorer. So that's all I'll really say about the US and Australia match before moving into my overall thoughts. But my friends, I want to know what you make of the Australia-US bronze medal match. Whatever you think, you know where the comment section is. Let me know.